This is my presentation on Salvador Dali. He was born on May 11th, 1904, and there's a museum containing many of his works called the Dali Museum. He is a Spanish artist, and in 1925 he had his first solo exhibition after being exposed to Surrealism by movement leader Andre Breton. After leaving his art academy, his work would become more bizarre and grotesque. Basically, it would have less form and more, it would just be kind of grosser to other people. 10 years later, he would become the enemy of Surrealism, and was exiled from it by the same man who exposed him, Andre Breton. He spent the 1940s in America, fleeing World War II. The classical period for him was the 1940s, and during this time he painted many noteworthy pieces of work, which made him to kind of get more famous. He would keep painting until he died at age 84 on January 23, 1989. His art is considered world-class alongside other artists such as Picasso. Here's a picture of him. This is one of his works of art. It's called the Archeological Reminiscence of Millet's Angelus. It was painted in 1933. It was last known to be in St. Petersburg, Florida, in the Salvador Dali Museum. Millet was known for his art of peasant farmers, which inspired artists such as Dali himself and Van Gogh, so many famous artists. The art was supposed to represent the foundations of human sexuality, and they underscored the innocence of childhood and the fear of adulthood. This is The Persistence of Memory. It was painted in 1931. These are pictures of soft watches. They're kind of like folded over things, kind of like how clothes would, which is what it means by soft. A normal watch would not be able to fold like this. It's currently in the Museum of Modern Art in NYC. The bugs in this photo show that the watches are still metallic and they're not being decayed. But the meaning behind this piece of art is that time is losing all meaning. We'll discuss more about that later. This is Swans Reflecting Elephants in 1937. It's currently owned by a private collector. It's an image, excuse my spelling here, image of swans on a pond, but their reflections, as you can see here, they're all elephants. He was kind of known for his double paintings. Things like this kind of filled his paintings in the 30s. He did many of these, actually. The trees become the legs of the elephants. Like, if you can see the reflection of the tree becoming a leg of an elephant. And it's basically, yeah, it's a double image. This is The Temptation of St. Anthony. It was painted in 1946. It's currently in the Royal Museum of Fine Arts of Belgium. It shows St. Anthony and his temptations. From the back to the front, this horse means strength, and the nude women means lust. Basically, yeah, it's what he was tempted by during his lifetime, and he's trying to resist it with the power of God. The things carrying the buildings are elephants, and if you see this building in the back, far back elephant, this is something that was a symbol of temporal and spiritual order. This is actually my favorite painting. This was The Burning Giraffe, 1937. Basically, it is currently in the Kunst Museum in Basel. The Burning Giraffe is actually in the back, even though that's the title of it, but what's in the front are humanoid figures with drawers coming out of them. For context, he painted this while he was being exiled from his own country, and it shows his personal struggle. The drawers opened were representing the subconscious of man, and they were kind of open. So basically, how I interpreted it was the country's intentions were to kick him out, and it was very open to him, so he could see what they wanted to do, what their end goal was. My connection to magical realism with this. Okay. The art was supposed to symbolize things that happen in real life, but they expressed things in ways that were not possible. An example of this was the persistence of memory. Watches are not supposed to look like this. They're supposed to be hard and firm, and they can't fold like clothes. The way they're presented is not real, but the idea itself is real. The idea of losing all meaning of time. This happens in like space, where they might age quicker or slower, or in a completely silent room, people might lose track of time. This is just how it works. Another example would be the reflection of swans. It's a very beautiful piece, and you could totally see swans in nature, and you can totally see their reflections. But things would not line up where you would see a swan on top of the pond and an elephant in the reflection. It would just be totally absurd, which is what makes it magical, right? It's yeah, and that's my work started.